Welcome to this flash tutorial. I'm calling it Dynamic Text Counter and error codes 1067 3551 1120. There's three error codes I want to cover. We're going to open a new FLA, ActionScript 3, and OK. First thing I want to do is call this button, this line here, and I want to make a button. So pick up your rectangle tool, your oval tool, one of them, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what stroke you have or what fill, and make yourself a little symbol here. I'm holding my shift down and I'm making a rectangle, a square rather. Pick up my selection tool, I'm highlighting it, modify, converting it to a symbol, make sure button is selected here, and calling it button 1, B-U-T-T-O-N 1, shift underscore BTN. Copy that name. We'll need that for an instance name. Close it. It's selected. Open the properties panel and paste that in here for an instance name. Lock this buttons layer. Insert a layer. Call it ActionScript AS. Select this first frame and open the Actions panel. You can click here if you have it docked here. If you don't, click on Window and here's Action. Click on it and it will open like this. And we're going to type this code. We're going to start by making a variable, VAR, turns purple. Count, C-O-U-N-T, that's the name I'm giving to it. Colon, number, capital N-U-M-B-E-R. This turns blue, var is purple, equals 0, semicolon. So we're setting this variable at 0. Button 1 underscore BTN, that's that red button I just made. Period. Add event listener, small a, capital E, capital L. If you have that spelled right, it turns blue. Open bracket, mouse event, capital M, capital E, turns blue. Period. C-L-I-C-K, all uppercase capitals, comma, and I'm calling this function start, capital S-T-A-R-T. You can call it anything you want as long as it doesn't change colors when you're finished. Close bracket, semicolon. Calling this function up, function, F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N, turns purple. Start, that's that function name right here. You can copy it and paste it in. Open bracket, event, small e, V-E-N-T, turns blue. Colon, mouse event. You can copy the mouse event and paste it in. Capital M, capital E. Close bracket, colon, void, V-O-I-D, same color as function. Here's an open curly bracket for the function. And as you start to type, usually this one, closed curly bracket comes in. Count, plus, plus. Count is that variable we just made. Plus, plus means increment by 1 or add 1. And a semicolon. And to see if this is working, we're going to trace, T-R-A-C-E, that will turn blue. Open bracket, count, close bracket, semicolon, and there's that closed curly bracket that should already be there. If not, put it in. So let's test this. Test movie, test. And if I click here, I trace 1, I click again, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So that is a good format for counting on a variable. Let's put 2 forward slashes here, and I'll show you a second way you can count or increment. Count equals count plus 1 semicolon. So let's test this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that works. So we know this format works for a variable. So let's highlight this out. Let's go click here, drag it all the way up. Right click, click here, drag it all the way up. It's all highlighted, and click right here, and that puts these slash and an asterisk and an asterisk and a slash, so this won't be seen by the computer anymore. Go back to the timeline, select the buttons layer, insert a layer, call this D-Y-T-E-X-T as in dynamic text. Select that first frame. Go over here, pick up your text tool, and we're going to use red, so I'm putting red here. You can make it any color you want. I'm using red. And make a text box. Open the Properties panel. I have a text box. You can see that. It's dynamic text. Click here. Make sure you select dynamic text. I'm going to give it an instance name of guess, G-U-E-S-S underscore TXT. You can call it anything you want. I'm using Times New Roman as my, from this drop down menu here. I'm using regular. There's my colors. I can change it any color I want. Embedded. Click that embed and select uppercase, lowercase, numerals, and punctuations. Okay. We can close that off now. And I want to highlight this and just open it up a little bit. There. And I'm going to put a 0 in there as a number 0. Lock that layer and open my actions panel again. Now I'm going to copy this whole thing because I want to keep this. Right click, copy this. Click here, put a couple enters, so I'm moving down the page. Right click, paste. And I'm not going to use this counter this time, so I can get rid of this line. Delete it. I don't need this asterisk and this backslash. Delete it. I'm going to have the button this time, instead of the button looking at something called count, I'm going to use the dynamic text itself. So I'm deleting all that information, but I'm still using the same button. So after this first curly bracket, put an enter in and type this code. Now if we look at this format here, guess underscore text, that's that text box we just made, period, T-E-X-T, small t, this turns blue, plus plus, semicolon, that's the same as this line here where we did count. So now it makes sense that if I press this button, I should increment this and I should see it happen in this text box. Movie test, but lo and behold I get an error. That's that 1067 error. You can't do that. That's what it's telling me. It's saying frame 1, line 20, you have an error. So if I go back to that frame 1, line 20, there's the error. You cannot do that. So let's put 2 forward slashes here. We cannot do that format. Let's go up and take a peek at the other format. The other format was where we had the word count equals count plus 1. So let's try that format down here with the dynamic text. Type. I have guess text, guess underscore text, period text, equals guess text underscore text, period text. That's the same thing, plus 1. So this should work. It worked up there with the variables, but again, with dynamic text, you cannot do this, and we get this error code 3551, and that's on line 22 of my action script. There it is there. So this does not work. So what do we do then? Well, we have to combine them. We need to have the button do the counting to a variable, and then we have to take that variable and put that variable amount in the guess text, dynamic text. So let's start off by going up here. Grab this line of text right to there. I don't want those two things. Right click, copy that. Come down here, right click, paste it. So now I have a variable. Let's go up here, pick either of these. I'm going to pick this one. Pick this one, right click, copy it. Come down here. These are no good. I'm going below them, I'm not taking them out because I want them there, I just want them. Paste it in. So now I have the counter being incremented by the button, bing, 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 bing. And now all I got to do is come up with a line of text to send whatever is in the counter variable to the dynamic text. And here we go here. After this, put a line, type. and it says guess underscore text period text equals open bracket count, that's the variable, close bracket period, to string small t capital S, that turns blue, open close bracket semicolon, and this should work with no errors. Test movie test. And if I click this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I said there was one more error, and that was the 1120. If for some reason you did this and didn't have this line of code, so let's put 2 forward slashes here. We forgot to declare a variable. If we tried that, test movie test, we get this error code 1120, and it tells us in 2 places, 24 and 25, and that's down here where we're using this 24 and 25. So if we take that out, now I have a variable, and again, this should work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learned.